Guys, I would like to start off with one of my favorite scriptures that helped me while starting this program. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge him and he will direct your path. And Proverbs chapter 3, verses 5 through 6. Now, there was a time in my life that I felt that I had everything right. Everything was going smooth. I had faith, I had experience, and I had education. Now, as a teacher, a leader, when it comes to church duties, leading the youth, and someone who has spent several years helping others navigate through difficult situations, I believe that good intentions and strong convictions were enough. Then life humbled me. Now, over the years, I've experienced professional challenges, personal disappointments, loss, and situations where I found myself asking God questions I never expected to ask him. During those seasons, I've learned something important. Sometimes helping people is not about having all the answers. Sometimes it's just simply being present. Now, that lesson became even more meaningful as I worked through this course. I have read the Smith 2019 and Mattice 2018 articles in their entirety. As I reflected on the ethical principles discussed throughout this course, I realized that becoming an effective school counselor requires more than academic knowledge. It requires self-awareness. It requires humility. It requires the willingness to examine my own beliefs and ask difficult questions about how those beliefs influence my interactions with students. One ethical principle that has come into harmony with my personal and spiritual beliefs is the principle of justice. Now, when I first began this journey, I viewed justice primarily through my personal understanding of right and wrong. However, through this course, I began to see justice through a different lens. I thought about my classroom. Every year, students walk through the door carrying invisible bags. Some carry confidence. Some carry trauma. Some carry grief. Some carry fear. A lot of my students even carry stress. On the surface, they all look the same. As counselors, justice means we do not treat students based on what they believe, where they come from, or whether their lives look like our lives. Justice means ensuring that every student has access to support, encouragement, advocacy, and opportunity. And as a Christian, I begin to see how closely this aligns with Christ's examples. Jesus constantly showed compassion to people from different backgrounds, cultures, and circumstances. He saw their humanity before anything else. This realization helped bring my faith in ethical principles of justice into harmony. Smith 2019 challenged me to think carefully about how personal values can influence counseling relationships. Mattice 2018 encouraged me to examine how spirituality can be integrated ethically and respectfully without imposing personal beliefs on others. The process was not always comfortable. There were moments when I found myself wrestling with questions such as, can I remain faithful to my beliefs while fully serving students whose beliefs differ from mine? How do I balance personal convictions with my professional responsibilities? How do I ensure students feel safe sharing their personal experiences without fear of judgment? Those questions stretched me and forced me to grow. One ethical area that still presents some conflict for me involves situations where students seek support regarding issues related to sexual orientation and gender identity. I want to be honest about this struggle. Now, my Christian beliefs shape how I view many aspects of life. At the same time, I do understand my role as a school counselor. It's not to impose my beliefs on students. I often imagine that a student sitting across from me in my office, perhaps that student feels rejected, perhaps that student feels confused, or also feels that no one listens to them and probably no one has the answers. Now, in that moment, that student does not need a debate. That student needs empathy. That student needs someone who will listen. That student needs someone who will help them navigate their challenges in a safe and supportive environment. That understanding continues to challenge me to grow both personally and professionally. Now, moving forward, the action I plan to take is intentional self-reflection, consolation, supervision, and continued professional development. Smith emphasized the importance of counselor of self-awareness and value management. Mattice reinforced the need for cultural responsiveness and ethical integration of spirituality. Now, as I conclude, I am reminded of something I have learned through both education and ministry. People may forget what you say, but they rarely forget how you made them feel. As a future school counselor, my goal is for every student who enters my office to feel respected, valued, and heard. This course has helped me understand that ethical counseling and Christian faith are not enemies. They can work together. When grounded in humility, compassion, and professional competency, they can work together to help students thrive. I thank you so much for listening. This was kind of hard for me to complete, but I am so glad that I was able to do so. Thank you so much again. You be blessed.